Hello everyone, welcome to Bare Minimum Initiative. Today we are going to discuss about presidential elections. Recently, the elections for Indian president have been held in which Draupadi Murmu, the first tribal woman to be elected as the president of India, as the tenure of incumbent president Ramnath Kovind has expired. So basically, what are the qualifications required to become the president of India? The first thing is one should be an Indian citizen. That is, they can be a citizen either by birth or by descent or by registration or by naturalization. That is, all categories of citizens are eligible to contest for the presidential elections. The second thing is one should have completed 35 years of age. And the third one is one should be qualified to be elected as a member of the Lok Sabha. And the fourth one is they should not hold any office of profit drawing remuneration from the government of India. Now let's see how nomination is filed for the president elections. A person who wishes to contest for the president elections, his name should be proposed by 50 members and seconded by another 50 members. Anyone from the electoral college from the central level or at the state level can propose or second a candidate's name, but they can propose or second for only one candidate, not more than that. This has been introduced by the Election Commission in the year 1974 to avoid non-serious candidates who have very less chance of winning the election. There are two processes by which a person can be elected. The first one is first past the post system and the second one is proportional representation system. In first past the post system, whoever gets the highest percentage of total number of votes will be considered as a winner. Let's say if there are 100 votes polled and 10 candidates contested. In 10 candidates, 8 candidates each get 10 votes and the 9th candidate gets 9 votes and the 10th candidate gets 11 votes. Even though the 10th candidate gets only 11 votes or only 11% of people has voted for the 10th candidate, he will be considered as the winner for the entire constituency. But this is not the case in proportional representation system. In proportional representation system, every proportion of the votes gets counted. Let's see how proportional representation system works. In proportional representation system, the voter is given the choice to rank the candidates based on their preferences in such a fashion that each candidate needs to clear a certain quota of votes to be declared as the winner. The quota of the votes will be calculated based on a formula. In this formula, the quota is calculated by dividing the total number of votes polled by the number of seats that is required to be filled plus 1 and adding 1 in the quotient. In the president election, the number of seats required to be filled is just 1. So let's say if 100 votes are polled, and the number of seats required to be filled for the president is 1 and adding 1 in the quotient. So this gives 100 by 2 plus 1, that is 51. So a person who gets minimum of 50% of quota of votes will be considered as the winner of the election. And the another principle by which the president election is happening is secret ballot system. In the secret ballot system, the elector votes based on his conscience. That is, he need not have to show his choice of candidate to anyone else. But in the case of Rajya Sabha elections, it is an open ballot system. That is, the elector need to show his vote to a person appointed by the political party. In that case, if the elector votes against the decisions of the party, he will be affected under anti-defection law. But in the case of secret ballot system for the president election, and it is a conscience vote, no elector can be affected under anti-disqualification law for president elections. Now let's see who are the persons participating or voting in the president elections, that is electoral college. The electoral college for president election consists of, in the parliament, elected members of both the houses of the parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And in the state level, elected members of legislative assemblies of all the states and 2 union territories which have legislative assemblies, that is Delhi and Puducherry. Now let's see how the value of votes of the members of the electoral college for president elections is calculated. The one principle to be noted here is that total value of votes of all MLAs is equal to total value of votes of all MPs. It has been fixed in such a fashion because President is the head of the Indian state, that is, he is the representative of both the center and the state. So, all the value of votes of all MLAs and MPs are calculated as equal. This is the one principle which we have to keep in mind. And the value of vote of one MP is calculated based on the formula total number of votes assigned to MPs divided by total number of MPs. This value can be calculated using this one, that is, if we found the total value of votes of all MLAs, we can find the total value of votes of all MPs. So, this can be found using this, and total number of MPs is currently there are 788 total number of MPs, 543 from Lok Sabha and 245 from Raj Sabha, and the vote of each MLA is calculated using the formula total population of the state divided by number of MLAs of that state divided by 1000. And the another thing to be noted here is that the value of all MPs are equal, whereas the value of all MLAs are not equal. That is, the value of MLA of one state differs from the value of vote of MLA from another state. Now let's see an example. The population has been calculated for this formula based on 1971 census. The population of Uttar Pradesh is around 55 crore and the number of MLAs in Uttar Pradesh Legislative Assemblies is 403. If we substitute these values in this formula, the value of an vote of an MLA from Uttar Pradesh will amount to around 1364. Based on 1971 census, the population of Kerala is around 2 crores and the number of MLAs from Kerala is 120. If we calculate based on this formula, the value of vote of an MLA from Kerala will amount to 172. So, there has been a difference between a value of MLA from Uttar Pradesh and value of MLA from Kerala. This is due to the differences in populations in both these states. The term of office of the president is 5 years, but he continues in that office until his successor comes to power. There is no cap on the number of times a person can be elected as the president. If any dispute or issue arises regarding the election of president, the issue can only be taken up by the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court's decision in this case is final and binding. It cannot be appealed before any court of law. Once the president is elected, the Chief Justice of India will administer the oath of office to the president. Even though both India and US are democracies, the institution of President of India differs from that of the US. Now, let's see the basic differences between the presidents of India and US. In US, the president is directly elected by the people, but in case of India, the president is indirectly elected by the electoral college, as we have seen. And in US, the president is the real executive, that is, he is the head of the state and head of the government. But in case of India, even though president is the head of the state and he is the head of the executive, he is just a nominal head, that is, he is a titular head. He doesn't have any real power. That is, he acts or he can act only on the aid and advice of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. And the term of office of US president is just 4 years, and in the case of India, it is 5 years. And the US president can be re-elected only one time. That is, a person can be elected as a president for just 2 times in US. But in case of India, any number of times a person can be elected as the president. And the president of US is not a part of the legislature, that is, he is not part of the Senate or the Congress. But in the case of India, the president is one of the part of the parliament along with the 2 houses. And the US president has the power to determine his policies and implement it without any interference from other executives. But in the case of Indian president, he cannot determine the policies or implement the policies without the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. Another basic difference between the two is only citizen by birth can become the president of US. That is, a naturalized citizen cannot become the president of US. But in the case of India, any category of citizen, even a naturalized citizen, can become the president of India. Our constitution under Article 53 states that the executive power of the union shall be vested in the president. That is, president is the head of the executive at the union level. But this article should be read along with the Article 74. The Article 74 states that there shall be a council of ministers to aid and advise the president. This shows that our constitutional thinkers and our founding fathers opted for parliamentary form of government or prime ministership form of government. This shows that the post of president or the institution of president is more of a nominal head or titular head rather than the real executive head. So this shows that the president of the India has only a limited powers in formulating a policy and implementing it. Even though the post has been designated as titular head, but there has been instances where the presidents have acted proactively to uphold our constitutional spirit. There are two instances which are worth mentioning. Mr. K.R. Narayanan, the former president of India, has sent the bill for imposition of president's rule in the states of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar for reconsideration. Also, Mr. Kalam, the former president of India, has sent the bill regarding office of profit for reconsideration to the cabinet. These examples shows that how the office of president can become a real working president rather than a mere titular head. That's it for today. Let's meet with another topic in the next video. Thank you.